about far more than music. It's about heritage, identity, craftsmanship, family, community, and the passing of traditions from one generation to the next. Whether your interest lies in flute bands, pipe bands, Lambeg drumming, Highland dancing, or the wider story of Ulster Scots culture, we hope this evening offers an opportunity to discover something new, to celebrate something familiar, and to enjoy the remarkable talent of our performers. So across the next 2 hours, you'll experience traditions whose roots stretch back centuries, yet which continue to evolve through the dedication of thousands of musicians, dancers, and volunteers across Northern Ireland and beyond. These are traditions that are rooted in community, in band halls, in church halls, and in family homes, where skills are learned and heritage is proudly shared. Speaking of heritage, we begin tonight with one of the most iconic sounds of Ulster, the unmistakable thunder of the Lambeg drum and the shrill of the Highland pipes. The Lambeg drum has been part of the cultural landscape in Ulster for well over 3 centuries. While its exact origins remain the subject of some debate, it's generally accepted that large double-headed drums arrived here in the late 17th century. One popular account suggests this particular drum was brought to Ireland in 1690 by King William III's troops, with some accounts claiming they played drums whilst camped at the town of Lambeg en route to the Battle of the Boyne. Though having recently been embroiled in some controversy myself over the idea of King Billy crossing a particular bridge in Belfast or not, I definitely will not be making any categorical claims tonight about his relationship with the Lambeg drum. Nevertheless, over time, local craftsmen refined this instrument into something unique, larger, lighter, and louder than almost any other drum in Europe. The Lambeg became a distinctive expression of Ulster musical heritage. In that sense, it's truly unique to Northern Ireland. Traditionally crafted from oak or ash with goatskin drum heads and played using flexible canes, the Lambeg produces a remarkable sound that can carry for miles. Yet despite its immense volume, playing the instrument is an art requiring precision, rhythm, and control. Every drummer develops their own style while respecting techniques that have been passed from one generation to another. For many families, Lambeg drumming is more than a performance. It's a lifelong tradition. Skills are handed down from parents to children. Competitions encourage excellence, and local clubs help ensure that this unique musical heritage continues to thrive. It's therefore especially fitting that we begin tonight with performers who represent both the highest standards of Lambeg drumming today and the bright future of that tradition. Formed in 2021, Centenary Drumming Club is represented this evening by Andy Young, his son Ethan Young, and Henry Turkington. Between them, they've enjoyed remarkable success on the competition circuit. Andy has won every major Lambeg drumming competition, including the prestigious Blue Ribbon event at Claddagh Night in 2024. Ethan has already established himself in senior competition despite his young age, while Henry has earned multiple victories in the junior ranks. Together, they represent both excellence and the passing of tradition from one generation to the next. Before that though, the excellent Graham Harris will kick us off with a piping set before the thunder of the Lambeg drum. So ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm Belfast welcome to the Centenary Drumming Club, and first of all, your piper this evening, Graham Harris.
Thank you very much, folks. A piper with a microphone. This is a weird experience. Okay, welcome everybody. Those are three little tunes for you. That was Shanghai Lil. Hopefully you all recognise that one. Believe it or not, the second tune was a wee reel called The Swallowtail Coat, and it's based on the same tune as Shanghai Lil. So we have a bit of unionist culture and a bit of or Protestant Scottish culture and a bit of Irish culture in there. And then we finished with I'll Tell Me Ma. I'm going to do one more piece for you before we hear the Lambeg drums. And this one has a little bit of audience participation. Ooh, I can feel the trepidation. So when we get towards the end of it, I would love it if you could all give me a really big yo! Something like that. Hopefully you'll all know what this is. Killaloo.
Graham Harris on the pipes and Centenary Drumming Club there with a tremendous way to open a sight in tonight's showcase. As we've already heard, Ulster's musical heritage is rich and it's varied, and our next performers take us back even further in time to the military music of the late 17th and 18th centuries. Formed in 2009, Sir Henry Inglesby Fife and Drum from Carrickfergus was formed to complement the famous Carrickfergus pageant and is named after Sir Henry Inglesby, the officer appointed to King William III's, by King William III's commander, the Duke of Schomberg, to command the guard at Carrickfergus Castle in 1690. As William's army marched south towards the decisive Battle of the Boyne, Sir Henry Inglesby remained behind with responsibility for the castle at Carrickfergus. Today, the band is dedicated to preserving the Ulster Scots-Irish tradition of fifing and drumming through both performance and education. Their uniforms are carefully researched reproductions, while their music recreates the sound that would once have echoed through military camps, town squares and parade grounds more than 3 centuries ago. Their commitment to authenticity has seen them perform not only throughout Ireland but also at major historical reenactments across Europe. Their musical programme this evening reflects that rich heritage. Among their varied set, you'll hear Lily Bolero, one of the best known political tunes of the 17th century, written during the reign of King James II, that became closely associated with the Glorious Revolution and the Williamite cause, remaining one of the most recognisable melodies in the Orange musical tradition. You'll also hear King William's March, this version of the tune written in honour of King William III, but it goes by many names, and in the Irish context you might recognise it as a tune called King of the Fairies. Alongside these, you'll hear traditional Scottish melodies, including the much-loved The Rowan Tree, and to conclude then, the band will perform Parson's Farewell, an English country dance dating back to the 17th century. So ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to the Sir Henry Inglesby Fife and Drum Band. glimpse into the musical traditions of the 17th century there from Sir Henry Inglesby, fife and drum band. Music and dance have always gone hand in hand, and nowhere is that more evident than the tradition of Highland dancing. Although many people associate Highland dancing with Scotland, it's a tradition with deep roots in Ulster too, reflecting the historic connections that have existed for centuries. Originally developing from the athletic sword dances and ceremonial displays of the Scottish Highlands, Highland dancing evolved into a highly disciplined art form that combines strength, agility, balance, and precision. Today, it's performed competitively across the world, but at its heart, it remains a celebration of culture, heritage, and community, with each dance telling its own story through movement and music. Our next performers are helping to ensure that this vibrant tradition continues to flourish. Founded by champion Highland dancer Molly Smith from Aberdeenshire, the Molly Smith School of Highland Dance has grown remarkably in a very short space of time. What began with just 8 young dancers has quickly developed into a thriving community of almost 70 dancers from across County Tyrone, introducing a new generation to the traditions of Highland dance while strengthening the cultural links between Scotland and Ulster. The school is proud of its close connections with the Searle Pipe Band and Searle Orange Lodge, whose support has played an important role in its success. This evening's performance is accompanied by a varied and evocative musical programme that begins with A New Dawn, a composition which captures a sense of optimism and fresh beginnings. This is followed by Chaos, an energetic piece which perfectly complements the speed, precision, and athleticism of Highland dancing. The performance concludes then with the lively Mary MacDonald's Reel, one of the best loved reels in the Scottish traditional repertoire, a joyful tune which is full of energy. So ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to the Molly Smith School of Highland Dance. Our next performers are proof that while the traditions we celebrate tonight are centuries old, they continue to evolve and attract new generations of musicians. Formed in April 2023, Imperial Guards Belfast are perhaps the newest melody flute band in Northern Ireland, but it's built upon an extraordinary wealth of experience. Collectively, its members bring together more than 200 years of flute band expertise, combining youthful enthusiasm with seasoned musicianship. Drawing inspiration from the traditional kora drums and the classic melody flute band style, Imperial Guards have quickly established a reputation for musical excellence. They are essentially a walking orchestra. Their performances blend military marches, traditional Ulster airs, Scottish and Irish melodies, hymns and sacred music into a programme that reflects the rich diversity of the flute band tradition. In just 3 years, the band has made a remarkable impact already. Beyond music, they have demonstrated a strong commitment to their community, raising thousands of pounds for local charities, including Cancer Research UK, Autism NI, Light of Foot, and this year, Cancer Fund for Children. They've also earned recognition on the parading scene. In 2024, on their very first appearance at the Belfast 12th of July demonstration, they were awarded the Best Melody Band on Parade. Their musical programme tonight perfectly reflects the band's broad repertoire. They begin with a tune that every bandsman and bandswoman will know all too well. If you've ever marched the length of the Lisburn Road on the 12th of July, you'll know that moment when you think you've nearly reached the end, only for the band captain to shout one word, Galanthia. It's a magnificent march, but perhaps every bandsman's nightmare when there's still another few hundred yards to go. So ladies and gentlemen, as they play, please give a warm Belfast welcome to the Imperial Guards from Belfast. military music evolved over the centuries, so too did another important figure at the head of the parade, and we saw a fine example of it there, the drum major. Originally, the drum major was far more than a ceremonial leader. In armies across Europe, drum majors were responsible for directing musicians, maintaining discipline within the ranks, and communicating commands on the march. Their ceremonial mace was not simply decorative, it was an important tool used to signal changes in pace, direction and movement long before modern methods of communication existed. Today, drum majoring has evolved into a highly skilled performance that combines precision, marching, athleticism, timing and coordination with the graceful handling of the mace. It demands countless hours of practice, exceptional concentration and remarkable discipline. The very best drum majors are not only accomplished competitors but also ambassadors for a tradition that continues to flourish across Northern Ireland. One of the driving forces behind that success is Andrea Gibson, who's dedicated almost 3 decades to teaching drum majors in County Armagh. Having competed herself for an incredible 38 years, Andrea has built one of the most successful classes anywhere in these islands. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the County Armagh drum majors. we're now going to have a short production break of about 3 minutes. What we'd like to say is the Belfast Bands Forum and the audience here this evening are extremely grateful to our guests for amending their schedules to attend the first half of this showcase at Titanic Slipways. For now, though, they must get across to the historic Ulster Hall in Bedford Street for the FLA's International Showcase. It looks like it's going to be a great evening over there. But what I can say, though, is that they're going to miss a treat of a second half here at the Titanic Slipways, because still to come, we have Ballylone Concert Flute Band, the Highland dancers from Sollus, the Loyal Flute Band, and our next performers who offer a slightly different perspective on the Ulster band tradition, demonstrating how music can build bridges and express faith through familiar melodies. Based in East Belfast, the Church Flute Band has grown from an outreach connected with St Martin's Church on the Lower Newtonards Road. Through music, testimony and fellowship, they seek to engage with people from every background, sharing a message of hope through the rich musical traditions of the flute band movement. Their programme this evening is one that many of you will recognise. It's centred on well-loved hymns that have echoed through churches and communities for generations, but it also reflects the wonderfully varied influences that have shaped our shared musical heritage. As well as the hymns, you'll hear the beautiful Spanish melody La Paloma, one of the most famous tunes ever written, alongside the gentle Scottish air Sweet Afton, inspired by Robert Burns' celebrated poem To the River Afton in Ayrshire. The band's opening piece, however, has particularly strong Irish connections. They begin with a tune called Believe Me If All Those Endearing Young Charms. While the melody itself is much older and its composer remains unknown, the words were written in 1808 by the great Irish poet Thomas Moore. Born in Dublin in 1779, Moore became one of Ireland's most celebrated literary figures. Through his collection called Irish Melodies, he took traditional airs from across Ireland and paired them with new poetry that spoke of love, memory, patriotism, and the beauty of the Irish landscape. Indeed, if you happen to go to the Linen Hall Library in the centre of Belfast, you'll see on display an original copy of Moore's Irish Melody, signed by our very own Marianne McCracken, a Belfast heroine. Thomas Moore's work helped preserve many traditional tunes at a time when they might otherwise have been lost, and his songs became known and loved not only throughout Ireland, but across Europe and North America. It's a reminder that music has an extraordinary ability to cross boundaries. A traditional melody given new life by one of Ireland's greatest poets continues to be performed and appreciated over 2 centuries later by musicians from many different traditions. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Church Flute Band Belfast. Lovely stuff there from the Church Flute Band from Belfast. Now, our next performers are also from the flute band tradition. Formed in 2020, the Loyal Flute Band was founded in East Belfast to honour the memory of two lifelong friends, Ian Ogle and Gareth Keys. Conceived as a lasting tribute to their lives, the band strives to preserve their legacy through music, fellowship and service. Although founded during the restrictions of the COVID-19 pandemic, the band quickly flourished, growing into the impressive organisation that you're going to see here this evening. In just 6 years, the Loyal has proudly represented East Belfast both at home and abroad, alongside performances in Northern Ireland. Members have travelled to the battlefields of the Somme in France and Belgium, where they took part in the moving last post ceremony at the Menin Gate, paying tribute to those who made the ultimate sacrifice in the First World War. Their musical programme this evening reflects the rich storytelling tradition of the Ulster's band music, with each tune carrying its own historical or cultural significance. You'll hear Dolly's Bray, a tune recalling the confrontation of Dolly's Bray in 1849. You'll also hear Governor Walker, and you'll hear the old mud cabin on the hill. So don't be shy, ladies and gentlemen. Tap your feet, clap your hands, and enjoy the music. And please welcome the Loyal Flute Band from Belfast. Highland dancing from the Molly Smith School of Highland Dance, our next performance returns to that rich tradition, but with a fresh and contemporary interpretation. Founded in 2001 in County Tyrone, the Sollus Highland Dancers have become one of the most respected Highland dance organisations in these islands. This evening they present a specially choreographed performance entitled Echoes of Ulster, featuring around 50 dancers from across the northwest. Through music, movement and storytelling, the performance celebrates the people of Ulster, those who shaped this place and those who journeyed from these shores to make their mark around the world. They begin with Bjorn the Hika by the acclaimed Scottish group Nightworks. This is followed up by Rip Up the Calico by the Red Hot Chili Pipers. Full of energy and excitement, it's the perfect accompaniment to the athleticism of Highland dancing. The performance concludes with Cathcart by Project Smock, one of Scotland's most exciting contemporary folk bands. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Sollus Highland Dancers.
outward with dreams and determination, and whose contributions continue to give us cause for pride and celebration.
Sollus Highland dancers there, ladies and gentlemen. Now, our next guests are one of the best known and most successful flute bands in Northern Ireland. Founded in 1908, The Ballylone Concert Flute Band have won an impressive 10 World Championships, including 3 consecutive World Championship titles on the bounce. Their programme this evening celebrates the proud military tradition of the Concert Flute Band. They begin with White Chateau, with origins in France, followed by Our Director, one of the best-loved American military marches. Next is the Imperial Echoes, and then Orangefield, 2 classic British marches that have long been favourites of military and marching bands. And Ballylone will then conclude with 1914, a stirring march with echoes of the First World War. You're in for a real musical treat this evening, ladies and gentlemen, so please give a warm Belfast welcome to Ballylone Concert Flute Band. ladies and gentlemen, just before I invite the Director General of Comhaltas, La Roche O'Murcu, onto the stage for a closing address, I'd like to draw your attention to a presentation which is going to happen just on the ground floor in front of me. A presentation from the Chairman of the Bands Forum, Darren Layton, to the Lord Lieutenant of Belfast, Fionnuala J. O'Boyle. And now, before the final mass band march off, I'd like to invite onto the stage the Director General of Comhaltas, La Roche O'Murcu, for some closing remarks.
Friends in music, I must say this has been an absolutely fascinating evening. And with a confluence of English and Irish blood in my veins, I must say I felt particularly at home here tonight. And when the church band struck up, "It's a long way to Tipperary," I'm coming from Tipperary, and I felt more at home, and I was humming the song to myself, and it said, "My heart lies there." But I can tell you, after the magic of this week, a very big part of my heart will remain in Belfast. Having played the drums in our own local pipe band for a number of years, I know full well the challenge it is to put a band together, to train them and to keep them together. Classes, uniforms, instruments, opportunity to perform, but I also know what a band means to a community. It gives them a sense of pride and a sense of their traditions as well. And some years ago, when I was a senator, I was pleased to host a delegation from the Ulster Scots tradition. And the purpose of that meeting was to compare notes, because we both had exactly the same challenges. Firstly, we had to ensure that the tradition didn't die for want of attention or want of input. And out of that meeting in Dublin, we kept in touch over the years, and I realized how much we had in common, and also how we could build bridges while respecting everyone's tradition. I was fascinated by the Highland dancing, and it brought back a very nice memory to me. 4 years ago, the future Queen and the future King visited our Comhaltas Cultural Centre in Cashel. And they had a very special request. Would we teach them some Irish dancing in front of the television cameras and let the world see it? And they were good. And I remember saying to the Prince at that particular time, "You have great rhythm." But he said, "I did Highland dancing." And again, I began to see similarities and bridges. And then a few months ago, when the King and Queen, their Majesties, came here to support the flag, I had another chat with the King on that occasion. And he remarked to me that not only did he do Highland dancing, but he went to classes for Highland dancing. And I kept saying to myself, look, we all have the same challenges if we want to keep our distinctive culture, whatever that may be, and our traditions and our music alive. And to be able to speak at that level meant to me, we have a lot of friends in high places. So when I spoke about the magic of Belfast, I think my first visit here was several years ago to see could we plant the seed of an idea of a flower so that we would have an abundant harvest of goodwill and fun and music and joy. Again, it proves some people, small in number, if you have a dream, follow that dream. But if we all follow that dream together, then we are stronger. And therefore, as Jason said, and he has been such a good narrator here of the show, but when he spoke about building bridges, I always say about music, it's not just a combination of notes, it's a language of the soul. It speaks to everyone. It generates goodwill. It lifts our spirits when we're down. And that's why music is so important, and we heard it here. And when I saw the youngest of them traveling with the bands, I said that's tradition from generation to generation. This flagpole is titled A Flag for All, and that's exactly what it has been. And I would like to salute the Bands Forum. They have been wonderful partners with us right throughout this event. They lifted our spirits on so many different occasions here at the Flag. And when you think about it, by the end of this week, God willing, we will have had in the region of 800,000 people here. And the flag has gone in all its elements, all its diversity, all its richness, all its creativity has gone to every corner of the world. Belfast, you're magic. Belfast, you're magnificent. Belfast, we thank you genuinely from our hearts. You've opened your doors and you've opened your hearts. Gorabila Margav, thank you all very, very much.
And folks, I just want to draw your attention to another presentation which is going to be made from Coldest the Heron to Chairman of the Belfast Bands Forum, Darren Layton, a specially commissioned piece designed in Mullingar to mark the 75th anniversary of Flagpole and the Heron coming to Belfast. So Darren, if you want to come onto the stage and receive this award.
You're still with us.
Now, folks, before we bring tonight's showcase to its conclusion, we've got one final spectacle for you. As the performers have made their way onto the main performing area, the Imperial Guards and the Loyal Flute Band will combine to play one of the most recognisable melodies in the Ulster marching tradition, the Sash My Father Wore. So for the last time this evening, clap your hands, tap your feet to the sound of the Imperial Guards and the Loyal Flute Band.
Well, folks, I didn't expect it to be that long. I don't know how long it was even. Something completely different. We had said at the start of the year that we were wanting to cover different things, different parades. And we got invited along tonight to the Belfast Music Festival. I know it has an Irish name and all that there, but tonight was a real showcase of Loyalist, Ulster Scotch, marching band, traditions and culture. And it's something we are all very proud of. And we should show it and prove it around the world. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. And don't forget, this weekend we're in Londonderry for the Apprentice Boys. So join us again when we go live on Saturday for the Apprentice Boys. God bless you all. Good night.
Just at the end of